handles.
There you go.
Welcome, everyone. I would like to call the June 9th, 2025 meeting of the Carver School Committee to order, and if everyone could please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to start our meeting off this evening with a number of recognitions, so I'll turn it over to Superintendent Neef.
Yeah, we're excited to have several recognitions this evening. First, we actually want to start with a recognition of Dr. Meredith Erickson. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize and express our deep gratitude to Dr. Erickson, who will be leaving us at the end of the year. Tonight will be Meredith's last school committee meeting, and we thought we might want to do a little celebration about that. Well, Meredith might want to do a celebration about that. Meredith is an exceptional educational leader whose vision, dedication, and unwavering commitment have left a lasting impact on the Carver Public Schools, our staff, and our students. Meredith has led with integrity, compassion, but most importantly, a relentless drive. To name just a few things, Meredith has been a leader in the implementation in both our math and literacy curriculums at the elementary school and our pathways programs at the middle high school. Meredith, it's been my pleasure and honor to work with you over the last 13 years, both as the principal of Carver Middle High School and as superintendent of the Carver Public Schools. We're really saddened to see you go. We wish you the best of luck in the future. And we have a small token of our appreciation for you. So thank you, Meredith.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
I don't know if anybody on the school committee wants to add anything. I'll give you that.
I was just going to say, thank you so much for your years of service and dedication to our district, Dr. Erickson. We greatly appreciate all that you've done for our students and for our staff, and we wish you well on your new adventure. Thank you. You're very welcome. Anyone else? Okay.
Second, we're excited to do a recognition of our girls track team this evening. So I'd like to invite up Coach Chris Trudeau. I'll talk a little bit about what happened, and then Coach, I'm sure, will add a lot more detail. Right
in the hot seat.
On Friday, May 16th, the girls track and field team won the Division VI Massachusetts State Track Coaches Association State Relays competition. The girls earned 80 points, placing them first among 18 teams that were competing. And I know many of the girls had outstanding individual performances that contributed to the team's overall success. So this evening we're excited to have the members of the team here. After I give Coach an opportunity to speak a little bit, we'll recognize everyone who's here, so I'll call out all the girls, ask them to stand to be recognized, and then we'll do a picture with the school committee and the trophy and Coach, just to commemorate this moment. Coach, outstanding accomplishment. What would you like to add on?
Well, as a track coach, I don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone here is aware, everything is individual usually. And the state relays is the meet that I circle because it's the whole team. And I knew this year we had a chance to do something special, and but we needed all the girls to show up. We needed all of them to compete, and that they did. We got 5 first places at that meet. In 2 of those events, we had a B team, and they got 2nd place. This is at the state level. This isn't like South Shore League. This is in the entire state D6, and these girls showed up and they performed really well. It's a great accomplishment, and as a coach, I've been a part of some great accomplishments, and this is the cherry on top. I honestly, I don't know how we top it until next year. Do it again next year.
Right?
Because as a track coach, like I said, I've gotten more compliments from other track coaches about that trophy, because that's the one you want to win, because it shows the whole team, not just one individual. So I take my hat off to all the girls.
I know that all the girls weren't able to make it this evening, but I would like to read the names of the entire team. So if you are here, if you could please stand to be recognized as I read your name, and then we'll do a picture up front here with Coach and the trophy and the school committee. Anna Raducci, Brianna Rougeau, Jalen Balonis, Sarah Baptiste, Taryn Markowski, Melina Berkebine, Chloe Christian, Emma Clancy, Josephine Cologne, Madison Daly, Skylar Deptula, Madeline Eaton, Gianna Fellini, Isabella Fletcher, Julia Grimes, Josie Helms, Grace Highland, Ella Johnson, Kate Camp, Shatavia Leonard, Violet Liddell, Brooke Lincoln, Megan McEnany, Tegan McNamee, Mia Malonis, Sierra Mulready, Carly Peterson, Patricia Reed, Ainsley Rogers, Charlotte Rogers, Alexa Ryan, Melania Santos, Maya Sepulveda, Corinne Sincere, Jaden Sotomayor, Sophia Tibbetts, Lila Tuffy, Victoria Tuffy, Avery Utley, Alyssa Verdon, Emma Wall, Brooke Wedby, Marina Wild, Ava Wood, and Maeve Zakaruski. And our coaches were Chris Trudeau, Lacey Aradamo, Molly Travers, Raven Jones, and Eric Baldwin. Congratulations to the team. Come on and take a picture. I think we'll do it on the floor only because I think if we get on stage, we're gonna get a glare from the screen. So who's gonna hold the trophy, Coach? You get this up. Are you looking at it? That's pretty well. I'll put the tall people in the back. I'll go back. Don't have me.
I'm going back.
You get everybody in?
I got everybody in. All right, I'm gonna take a couple.
And we have another very exciting recognition this evening. So I'd like to invite up Student Council Advisor Chris Treska, former President Mackenzie Moore, and current President-elect Riley Shea. We're excited to recognize the Carver High School Student Council for being selected as a National Gold Council of Excellence. This is the first time the Carver Student Council has received this prestigious award. I said the award very funny, so I'll say it again. National Gold Council of Excellence. We're only one of 13 schools in the state to receive this recognition. To receive this honor, the Student Council has demonstrated excellence in governance, service, civil engagement, and student voice. We're pleased to have them here this evening. We're going to present or recognize the current members and the past members of the Student Council Executive Board, and we'll give them a little opportunity to tell a bit more about what this means. Just an outstanding, tremendous accomplishment to have our Student Council recognized in this way. And your work in the school is just ever present. It's always seen. You all do a tremendous job. I know Mrs. Cabral and Mr. McGinnis and Mr. Antel over there, they would certainly recognize that. Mr. Cabral's giving you a big thumbs up. As a group, you really have been tremendous leaders in our school, and we all appreciate that. Mr. Treska, Riley, and Mackenzie.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Neef. I just want to say just a couple of things. I'll have my student leaders next to me speak. Just thank you to school committee for recognizing and acknowledging the hard work of all of our student leaders. And thank you to all of our student leaders, both graduated and still in the trenches with me, doing great things at our school, which I appreciate. I've had the pleasure and honor of working with so many student leaders, and being recognized as a National Gold Council of Excellence is an award that the school applies for, like we apply for it, but a committee will then review all applications and they will acknowledge schools that meet a certain criteria. And just to kind of piggyback off what Mr. Neef said, the National Gold Council of Excellence recognizes and celebrates student councils from across the country. This award acknowledges that our council meets very high standards and they demonstrate evidence of student service, leadership, voice, and engagement. I would like to take a moment just to acknowledge some of the executive board officers by name, because I feel like they're the engine that runs student council, and then all the members kind of fall in line and we all kind of do our magic together. So the 2024-2025 executive board included Mackenzie Moore, Kaylee Shirtliff, Paige Medico, Ava Camello, Haley Scott, Riley Shea, Charlie Donovan, Lillian Wiafe, Ava Wood, Mia Malonis, and Wyatt Turner. I also want to show appreciation for some new members that were elected this year to serve in the 2025-2026 school year, which includes Sophia Loring, CJ Rush, Devin Mullen, Sophia Tibbetts, and Cash Liddell, and the dozens of other student leaders that we have serving in our school. They truly are a fantastic group of awesome kids to work with, and every year they cease to amaze me. And I'd like to have Mackenzie and then Riley say a few words as well, so thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Here you go.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Mackenzie Moore, and I was the student council president for the past school year for the 2024 to 2025 year. Prior to attending the annual state MASC conference, Truska and myself made the decision to apply for National Gold Council of Excellence. We then proposed the idea to the rest of the board, and everyone agreed it would be a great idea as it was the first time we applied. Receiving the National Gold Council of Excellence Award was a very prestigious process. We had to go through submitting a whole portfolio with many sections included. These sections all had criteria that we had to meet in order to receive such a prestigious award as this one. We are one out of the 17 schools in the state to receive this award, and I am honored to have been a part of applying for this award. This award is the definition of success and leadership, as well as precision and teamwork. This is a plaque that has this year as the very first year we received this award. I know that in the years to come that the plaque will fill up with even more recognitions. Even though I may not be here to witness it as I've graduated, I have full faith in the e-boards to come, especially the e-board you guys will all have for this year, that you guys will continue to achieve this award as well as many more amazing things. On behalf of my board from this past year, we thank you for everything you have done for us, and thank you for inviting us here tonight to speak on such a milestone and amazing accomplishment. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Riley Shea, and I'm the newly elected president for the 25 to 26 school year. I'm incredibly honored to be here and even more proud to reflect on an amazing milestone that we have recently achieved together, receiving the National Gold Council Excellence Award. We received this award as one of 17 schools in the state. This award is a recognition of dedication, leadership, and spirit, all values that define our student council. This past school year, I was serving as the spirit coordinator. In that role, I had the privilege of working to build enthusiasm, connection, and pride within our student body. Seeing the dedication and teamwork from our council throughout the year and the positive impact it had on our school's spirit and enthusiasm to become even more involved made it clear that this award wasn't just about one moment of success, but the pride we upheld every day. But this award is more than just a celebration of our past. It's a challenge for our future. As your new president, I see it as a standard to live up to and even surpass. It sets the tone for the kind of leadership and collaboration I want to continue promoting throughout the school year. It sets a high standard and challenges me personally to lead with the same integrity, energy, and purpose that brought us here. Lastly, I want to thank you all again for honoring our council and recognizing the hard work of student leaders. Your support encourages us to keep growing, learning, and making our school community stronger. And I can't wait to work even harder next year. Thank you.
Mr. Tresca, I know you recognized everybody, but I'm going to say everybody's name again and make them stand. I'm going to use that process, and then we'll come up and do a picture. So graduate officers from 24-25, if you could please stand when your name is called. Mackenzie Moore, Kaylee Shirtliff, Ava Camello, Paige Medico, and Haley Scott. And undergraduate officer, new officers, William Wiafe, Sophia Tibbetts, Riley Shea, Charlie Donovan, Wyatt Turner, Mia Malonis, Ava Wood, Sophia Loring, Devin Mullen, CJ Rush, and Cash Liddell. Student council. And I know Mr. Tresca already received this award. I took it back from him because we'll actually do a presentation of the award again this evening, and we'll do a picture with the group.
Nice.
So Riley, I'll give this to you at the end.
That was like the true passing.
We have to get a little tighter. We're going to do a little slide a little bit.
Yeah, can we do a second roll, maybe?
Yeah, make sure you're pressing. Let's get up.
I'm throwing back, ready? Like, you're good. One more.
Congratulations.
I just want to quickly say thank you to all of our students and their families that attended for the recognitions this evening. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the school committee meeting. I can see many people leaving, but there is certainly no pressure for you to remain. We appreciate you being here. Thank you to our advisors as well. Congratulations and all your accomplishments. So, okay. Back to the agenda.
No, we have one more. So
more
I'd like to do the
recognition.
introduction of our new Director of Curriculum and Instruction Assessment, John Mills. So John, come on up. We can applaud for John. John, thanks for being here this evening, and I'll just give a brief introduction of John to the committee and give him an opportunity to say a few words. So John comes to us with a Bachelor's in Economics from Amherst, UMass Amherst, a Master's in Secondary Education from BU, and he has actually 2 CAGS degrees, a CAGS in Educational Leadership from Boston College, and a CAGS in Educational Leadership specifically in Curriculum and Instruction from Northeastern. He spent his career as a high school history teacher in Barnstable, assistant principal at Situate High School and Furnace Brook Middle School in Marshfield, was the director of technology for the Situate Public Schools, and currently is the principal of Cohasset Middle School. It was really it was a good process for us to go through. We had a strong pool of candidates. We had close to 50 applicants. Of those 50 applicants, 20 to 25 were really super qualified. We had a committee that was made up of administrators and teachers. And we interviewed 6 candidates. From the 6 candidates, we had 3 finalists. The 3 finalists all did site visits and came and met with staff, students, went through the buildings, had the opportunity to do some staff feedback at the end of each day. So it was a really good process, and John did an outstanding job rising to the top of that process. So we're excited to have John here and looking forward to having him join our team. So John, congratulations. Like I said, we just want to take a moment to recognize you and welcome you to come.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to come and see the school committee and meet, and certainly to meet Dr. Erickson. As you can imagine, as you enter a process like this, you work to learn a lot about a district and get to know it before you apply. And I was thoroughly impressed with everything Carver has accomplished and has going for it. And then Superintendent Neef said that part of the process included a site visit. And as much as I wanted to impress everybody that I met, I gotta say I left absolutely in love with Carver. Teachers were so engaged, the administrators were professional, but so accessible, and it was just neat walking around the elementary school, the high school, middle high school, and seeing, first of all, kids saying hi to Superintendent Neef by name, and him knowing everybody too. But every teacher I met was really happy to be there. I mean, really, it was as if they were applying to me. They really, really wanted to impress their enthusiasm, their energy, and their positivism on me. And I left. Oh, and the students were amazing. That we had the opportunity to meet in classes and talk to. So it's humbling to be invited to join a team as successful as yours, and I can't wait to jump in and find my voice and my role and be able to contribute to all the great work that Dr. Erickson and Superintendent Neef and the principals and teachers have been doing. So thank you. Thank you is all I could say.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Welcome.
it. Thanks for coming this evening.
Right?
Thank you.
Yep, we look forward to working with you. Thank you for being here tonight. Sure, you want a picture? Absolutely.
No more paparazzi.
Right? No. Oh, okay. So next, we have comments from the EAPC. I see that Tom Pinto is here.
And I would make a recommendation at this time that we change the order of the agenda, and after doing, as part of doing comments from the APC, that we move up the item A from recommendations from the superintendent, which is a review of the MOA for the teachers unit, and have the school committee vote on that at this time. But we just need a motion to change the agenda.
I move that we change the agenda and move up the MOA teachers unit from recommendations of the superintendent to now.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Tom.
Unanimous.
Hey guys, I mean, you're happy to take the vote, and maybe we have another round of applause here. It's the only one who didn't get a clap to come up, but that's okay.
You always get applause.
No, again, I'm glad to hear that we have the MOA here to ratify. We had great support from our membership on it. I think just going back in some history, I think it's one of the largest raises our teachers have received throughout the history of Carver. So I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of my team. They worked very hard. And again, I appreciate working with everybody. I mean, we don't always agree, but it was all the conversations were always respectful. And so hopefully there'll be another clapping at the end of your vote. So thank you, everybody.
So I do need to review some pieces of the MOA.
Yep.
So on Monday, June 2nd, the teachers voted to ratify the MOA that was reached between the teacher group and the school committee negotiating teams. So the major language changes. First, this contract will run from September 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2028. For summer school, we agreed that all teachers would be paid 1 hour of prep time for every 3 hours of teaching. Currently, there's actually it's a mixed situation where if it's a parent-paid program, the teachers get paid for prep, but if it's a district-paid program, they don't. And we really saw the inconsistency in that. So we brought it together that teachers will get 1 hour of prep time for each 3 hours of teaching. We agreed that upon retirement, employees will donate 30%, which is up from 20%, of their sick leave to the sick leave bank. Probably the biggest change in language is we agreed that all members shall receive up to 15 days of paid parental leave that would not be deducted from their sick time. So currently we allow up to 15 days of parental leave, whether you're the person giving birth or not. Now we change that. There will be 15 paid days that would not be deducted from sick time. We also agreed to establish a committee to review both stipended positions and the approval of graduate courses and credits. That's going to be a lot of work looking at those two items, and so we're going to continue those discussions next year, and I'll form those groups in September, and we'll have 3 members from the administration, 3 members from the APC, and we'll work on those particular issues. And then in terms of salary increases, In FY26, it's a 3% raise for the first half of the year, with an additional 0.5% the second half of the year. For FY27, it's a 2.5% raise for the first half of the year, an additional 0.75% for the second half of the year. And in FY28, it's a 2.5% raise again for the first half of the year, with again an additional 0.75% for the second half of the year. So over the 3 years of the contract, it would be a total of 10%. And so at this time, obviously the administration and the negotiating subcommittee recommends approval of the MOA. So I move that we make a motion to do so.
I move that we ratify the memorandum of agreement reached between the Teachers Negotiations Subcommittee and the Educational Association of Plymouth and Carver Teacher Unit.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so
Unanimous?
Now we can blow.
There we go. Thank you again. Again, it was great language for new families, and thank you for being creative with the finances, so I appreciate it.
And we do our tongue drum cut.
We can sign.
Yes, we can sign one for Stephanie. You can sign one, take one.
There we go. Stephanie, like pros.
Right. You just have a much shorter name than I do.
6'9", right?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Well, this, I'm giving it to Gina. So wait a minute. Can you pass? I just want to very quickly just say thank you to everyone that served on the negotiating subcommittee for this contract renewal. It was, as Tom had mentioned, it was very professional, very open. We had some really good discussions and some good conversations, and we were all there for in the same spirit of things. And I'm just very thankful that we were able to come to an agreement before the summertime, that way everyone can enjoy their time off. So I just wanted to say thank you. Okay, so now I have to flip back up. Okay, so that brings us to comments from the general public. So if there's anyone here that would like to speak, you're more than welcome to come up to the table up front. Every member that speaks is allowed 3 minutes on whichever topic they so choose. Okay, so not seeing any movement to the microphone, we will move on to the approval of minutes for the May 19th, 2025 open session minutes.
I move that we approve the May 19th, 2025 open session minutes for the Carver School Committee.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, thank you very much. That brings us to communications and the Reed's quarterly report for June.
Yeah, so just in your background, you have the quarterly report from Reed's Collaborative. We've actually talked about Reed's a lot this year in terms of they're moving forward to purchase the new building for the deaf and hard of hearing program. So that has gone forward. The goal is that they'll have that building open in Norton for September 1st, for the first day of school. That's the goal. So the quarterly report talks about that a little bit. That's like the major item in there. It's a one-pager for your review, and hopefully everything will move along on process, and we'll be able to open that building for September 1st.
That'd be amazing. Excellent. Okay, so that brings us to reports from the superintendent and personnel updates.
So since we last met, we have had some personnel changes. So new hires, Andrea Lavarone in food services at the middle high school. Melissa Roach as a pre-K teacher at Carver Elementary School for the rest of Andrea was this year, the rest of them are going forward for the beginning of next year. Demetrius Troy as a monitor clerical aide at the middle high school. Janet Scarafoni, we're happy to have Janet coming back to us as the food service manager at the middle high school. Janet worked for us for many years.
Yep.
Kim Lee, administrative assistant at the elementary school. and Justine Carpenter is an office clerk at the elementary school. We do have one transfer, Derek Howard, from custodian third shift to custodian second shift at the middle high school. And then Holly Hoffman has decided to transfer from being the food manager to a cook at the middle high school, and Janet's going to come back as the food manager, as we talked about. And then we have had a couple of resignations. Christine Enroll as a custodian second shift at the middle high school. Bridget Ryan as a special education teacher at the middle high school, effective the last day of school. And Nancy Sullivan, lunch hall monitor at the middle high school, effective the last day of school, June 18th, 2025. And that's our personnel movements since our last meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that update. Next on the agenda, we are delighted to welcome our athletic director, Kelsey Kincaid, for a spring sports overview.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Kelsey here. He's going to give us a little overview update on spring sports. Maybe a sneak peek into the fall.
Yes. Thank you guys for having me tonight. Athletic Director Kelsey Kincaid. So just want to give you guys a little recap of our spring sports and going into next fall. So this spring, our teams had some great success. Our softball team's record was 6-12. Baseball was 6-12. Tennis was 0-14. Boys tennis 2-12. Girls track and field 4-0. And boys track and field 3-1. Our league accomplishments within the South Shore League was that girls track and field were the South Shore League champions, and Emma Wall received South Shore League Player of the Year for the Tobin Division.
And that was pretty exciting because I know at the academic awards ceremony last week at the middle high school, we actually had several players who were the Player of the Year for the league in their sport. And we've recognized them throughout the year, but really kudos to all those kids, including Emma Wall, because that's an outstanding accomplishment to be the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I believe we've had 6 or 7 this entire school year.
Yeah, which is really actually really impressive.
Which is amazing. So, then team accomplishments. Our baseball team made it to the round of 16 in the MIA state tournament. They lost to Hopedale last Thursday, 6-3, but it was a great season for them, and it was a really tough game. They played hard in that 93-degree day out there. Our boys tennis team received their first 2 wins under Coach Murphy, which was very exciting this year. Our girls track and field team, as we just recognized them, were champions of the MSTCA state relays. Last weekend, we had 20 athletes compete at the MIAA state meet. And we had 3 that placed and received medals. Julia Grimes placed 2nd in shot put. Emma Wall placed 2nd in high jump, and Shatavia Leonard placed 8th in shot put. And Emma Wall and Josie Helms have qualified for high jump for the New Balance Nationals in Pennsylvania, where they will both be going in the end of June to compete. Other team accomplishments, our unified track and field team went to states and competed and had some great success. Jonathan Demons came in 1st in the 100-meter in shot put. Dylan Brissett came in 4th in the 100-meter. Aiden Corbin 7th in the 100-meter. Harper Lyons 6th in the 100th meter. Maddie Giorgio 2nd in long jump, and Leah Sturdivant 7th in long jump.
That's amazing.
Also this spring, we recognized 8 of our seniors who were going on to play sports at the collegiate level, and we had a celebratory signing day. So to recognize them, we have Sarah Stairs, who's going on to play soccer at Curry. Jaden Sotomayor, also playing soccer at Curry. Paige Medical, competing in track and field at Stonehill. Julia Grimes, also track and field at Stonehill. Sarah Newell, softball at Mass Maritime. Finn Manning, golf at St. Joseph's in Maine. Maya Sepulveda, track and field at Salve Regina. And Amanda Byron, volleyball at Suffolk. So we had a lot of success we celebrated this spring. Looking to the fall, the sports that we will be offering, same as this past year: football, boys soccer, girls soccer, volleyball, field hockey, boys and girls cross country, golf, and cheerleading. We will be having our fall Meet the Coaches night on Thursday, August 14th at 6 p.m. here in the auditorium. Our first day of tryouts for football is Friday, August 15th, and every other sport will be starting on Monday, August 18th. And fall registration is open on Family ID and will be open until Wednesday, August 13th. So hopefully everyone registers now before summer. But that is my update. Thank you guys for everything this year and all of your support from you for all the success this season.
Thank you very much, Kelsey. Any questions or?
Anyone have any
thoughts?
questions? I just want to say thank you for the tremendous work you've done over this past year.
Thank you.
It's really amazing to see our athletes being celebrated. in such a way. And clearly, it's the accomplishments that just keep coming season after season is just, it's really amazing. I know how difficult it is to be a student, an honor student, and compete in athletics. It's a huge commitment, so thank you for supporting our athletes.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Take care. Right, okay, so that brings us to the Unity Group that is also here to present.
So we're excited to have Dr. Naomi Stahl, Julia Whalen, Kat Cramp. Jackie's going to assist, I believe, as well. Going to present an overview of the work that the DEI group has been doing this year and how we've kind of made the shift from DEI to Unity Group. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I have to say, I cannot think of anyone less athletic than myself to come up and represent after all that wonderful, all those wonderful accomplishments. So I hope you're not disappointed.
Never.
Thanks. Good evening. On behalf of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, also known as DEI, I'm Naomi Stahl. I'm joined with my friends here, Kat Cramp and Julia Whalen, and Jackie's across the way, so I will send it over to her periodically. And we want to share some updates with you. So at the elementary school, our motto is, we are just what the world needs. So this year, we have lived this expression of optimism and celebrated the contributions of our students. So, our vision that we share is we aim to engage all stakeholders in designing and implementing strategies that value diversity and ensure equity. And our goal is to support a culturally inclusive community. And DEI is comprised of over 20 members, and that includes our staff, students, parents, and community members. And then the objectives outlined here focus ensuring that everyone feels safe, valued, and accepted, as well as how we work together to achieve this goal. And here is a brief list of all we accomplished this year. At the middle high school, the GSA created a mural. A study group read and discussed the book Teaching for Black Lives. We had our Arts and Culture Night. We participated in professional development, a racial diversity alliance, the career fair, and at the and this was the elementary school's second year with the One Book, One School project.
So this is a picture of the GSA mural, which you will also find in the hallway right outside the auditorium. We started it last May, and we finally just finished it this May. It was over 15 student and staff volunteers that helped to make this happen. We were just after school 1 hour every Wednesday, just chipping away at it. And me and my GSA co-advisor, Morgan Bardetti, we are just so proud of all the work the students put into it and how beautiful it came out. This was funded through a grant that we received for our club 2 years ago from the It Gets Better project. It was a $10,000 grant to improve our school and make it more inclusive for everybody. So this was something that was on our to-do list with that money, and we're very excited that it's done.
It's amazing. Gorgeous. Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
And Jackie's going to share a little bit about our books study group.
So yeah, so we had the Teaching for Black Lives study group, and this is a picture of the book with us, a few of us. It was a larger group than that. But so we had small groups, and we had a small group. We had monthly meetings, and we did some different chapter readings, and then we would share out and just discuss it. And it was really eye-opening, and it was really a good place where we can share lesson plans to incorporate into the curriculum, and it was a really neat place where it wasn't necessarily like a mirror for us, but it was more of a window, looking out and seeing different cultures and kind of gaining some empathy and opening our eyes to different things. And it was a really great group of people. I was honored to be a part of it. And then we have a new group, a new book this year upcoming. It's called Original Sins. This is what we decided to do. So we'll continue that.
And the only thing I'd like to mention on that is being part of this was actually a national movement. So we actually joined it was a national study group. We were just one local in the national, but it gave access to a nationwide study group and a lot of PD. So there were like monthly or quarterly opportunities to do national online sessions. I personally attended 2 of them, but you would go into a breakout and you'd be in with teachers or administrators from all over the country.
Great.
So it was just a tremendous opportunity, and I don't think any member of our group attended every single one of the national opportunities. But I think people took advantage of them throughout the year. So it really was. So being part of this group was provided a lot of opportunities to staff.
Hello, everyone. We were so fortunate to celebrate our 4th annual Arts and Culture Night at the elementary school. We gathered for art, music, and games from all around the world, and it was just such a joy. We started with a ukulele concert with over 95 students playing ukulele, and then we had 2nd grade perform songs from around the world, and they hit a song from every country. The fabulous Miss Stanfield had art from lots of different places, different cultures all over, as you can see by the pictures of our flags. And we also had food trucks from local places in Carver, and it was a wonderful time. Miss Tobin, as well as Ms. DeMarsh, set up games from different places around the world, and it's just a wonderful tradition that we hope to continue.
Excellent. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So this year, the DEI supported the staff and students in Carver through professional development. Whether it was a guest speaker or attendance at conferences, we focused on how we could improve our practices and contribute to a more welcoming and inclusive environment. And these are just a few of the people that we spent time with this year.
Excellent.
I love it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Racial Diversity Alliance that we have here at the middle high school. I do want to preface this with I'm not involved in this group. It's run by Michelle Robidoux and former staff member Terry Payne. So they co-advise this group, and it's for students in grades 6 through 12. They meet at least once per cycle that we have in our schedule. I think it's day 7s that they meet. And my students described it. I spoke with a few of them that are in this group because I wanted to get their perspective. They describe it as a safe space to love the skin you're in. So it's just this group that meets, and they can connect with other people that look like them, and it gives them a support system. They have guest speakers that come in and talk with them. They go on field trips. I was told that they have after-school celebrations where they invite in community members and family, and all the students just spoke glowing reviews about this group. They said that it's so important to them that we have this here in Carver. They even get training on how to kind of handle any kind of microaggressions that might happen to them on the school day. So it was really nice to hear both from the teachers that run the group and from the students that are part of it, just how important it is that we have this Racial Diversity Alliance here at our school.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie, career fair?
That was me. Thank you. So we did have the career fair again this year. Last year, so this would be the 2nd year, and then it was just Scott Neef and Sean ended up going to participate in this, and it's a multicultural career fair. Hopefully we'll continue to do this over and over again throughout the South Shore and Bristol County, finding the right niche place to go.
So this is actually a state group that we joined, the MPDE. It's the Mass Partnership for Diversity in Education. And their focus is to diversify the workforce across the state. And we had our own job fair last year, separate from theirs. And it wasn't super successful. And their job fair last year wasn't super successful. I think they had somewhere between 15 to 20 people come for the whole job fair.
Yeah.
So I'm technically the representative of the Carver Public Schools on this group. And they had a lot of discussions about whether job fairs should even continue. Is that how young people look for jobs anymore? And, but this year, Sean and I went, and the turnout was definitely better. So we were pretty busy. We were there for 4 hours, and we were talking to a lot of people. For us, the job fair took place in Brookline. We were kind of on the edge of the range that people might have been interested. So we talked to a lot of people who might have had interest in the jobs that we had available, and they're like, "Oh, Carver's a little bit out from where we want to be." And so we had some good conversations. We brought back some resumes as we went through our hiring process this spring, brought some people in. But we have not hired anybody directly from participating in this job fair this year. But we'll continue to be part of the NPD going into next year.
Great, thank you.
So we've continued our One Book, One School by reading Change Sings. It's an anthem of hope, empowerment, and hoping that students will spark change in our own school. We even have a song that we sing at every assembly. Our school assemblies, run by Dr. Pinella, will use readings and music and performances that tie into this book message, and it's all student-led, because the goal is that change comes from within, and we want our students to be the leaders that are guiding this change. A huge success has been our campus cleanups. You can ask any of the kids who were involved. They were so excited. They were begging Miss Maestas, "Please, can we go outside and clean more?" This gave students the opportunity to beautify our school grounds, and we would go by grade and pick a time. We had a map ready to go with different places that each class would go, and they would clean up. It was very hands-on, and it showed how these little small acts can make our school beautiful and have big change. And then another new thing that we added into our assemblies are champions of change. It's celebrating students that really live out this message. So it encouraged kindness, leadership, and we had a few students that got to come up and have this award, and it was announced by teachers that voted for them who noticed those changes. And in the next few slides, there's just a couple of pictures showing these examples. So here's the campus cleanup. There's our sexy map showing where we cleaned up, and there's some of the kids with Benzie. Benzie's kind of chilling, but the rest of us were working really hard.
As well.
Yeah. And then for the next slide, you'll see there's our champion of change, so the kids can look in the mirror and see the leader that they can be, and then we hand out those awards to students that are showing leadership.
All right, so we're in the home stretch here, so I'd like to share some exciting news with you. We're fortunate to work with Jamil Adams, the Director for Love, Inclusion, and Trust at Scituate Public Schools. His extensive resume includes serving as Director of DEI in Scituate, Dean of Students at Brandeis University, and the Director of Derek Jeter's Leaders Leadership Program. Very impressive.
Excellent.
I'm a Red Sox fan, but okay. So over several evenings, we worked in small and large groups to identify words and phrases that best articulated our intentions. So you can see we had some different styles based on the working groups. And we came to the Unity Group. So we are excited to present the Unity Group, Nurturing Respect and Joy. And here's our mission. We, the Carver School community, are committed to celebrating acceptance, unity, and respect through nurturing compassionate relationships, supporting connections with love, trust, and empathy, seeing the beauty in everyone, and encouraging pride in ourselves and each other. I don't want to add anything in there, but we plan to share our rebranding with the rest of the school community at the beginning of the new school year. And please, I wrote this in this time because last time I ran away. Please feel free to ask us any questions. Thank you for your time.
So we've also booked, Jamil is going to do some PD with the alt team, the admin team over the summer. So part of our
Excellent.
summer retreat, he's going to come in for a couple hours and talk about this transition and how we celebrate this throughout the school district.
He brought such wonderful energy. It was so fun to go to the meetings with him.
We have a student representative, and he went home and told his mom that it was life-changing. She's like, what is happening over there? I don't know, I was kind of tired.
That is excellent. I just want to say thank you to all of you for being here, for the work that you do, and for the passion and joy and kindness that you bring to our community. You're all greatly appreciated.
Likewise.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for the support.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Say the pledge.
Okay, so that brings us to a very exciting presentation on the educational blueprint.
Hopefully it'll be as exciting as the Unity Project.
It will be incredibly exciting, there's no doubt.
So this year I went through one of my personal goals, professional practice goals, was to go through a process to review, revise, update the educational blueprint for the school district. And how I did that is over the course of the year, I actually met with students, teachers, staff, and groups like the PTO and school councils. And I met with almost every staff member. So I scheduled a meeting with every staff member. And they weren't necessarily required to attend the meeting, but majority did. So I gave every staff member the opportunity to have those discussions, and then certainly parent groups and student groups. And I asked everyone the same 4 questions. It was a little bit like a listening tour. And what I did is I just went through and I took notes on what everybody had to say, and then took those notes and synthesized them to get some core ideas of what can we do to maybe revise, update the educational blueprint. I brought those ideas back to the admin leadership team. Then we looked at it, and in the end, we only made minor revisions to the blueprint. But I'd like to present that to you this evening, and then you'll see later on that the school improvement plans are tied to the revised educational blueprint. And certainly I'll share the thoughts that the members, the summary of the members of the community and what they see as strengths and areas for growth for the school district. So what were the 4 questions? Question number 1. What do you like/appreciate most about working or being part of the Carver Public Schools? What would you identify as an area of improvement for the school district? I feel like this is the same question, but it got some different responses. If you were a superintendent and can change one thing, what would you change? And what suggestions do you have for the revision of the educational blueprint? So I really enjoyed going out and doing the meetings. I think people were really open in terms of giving feedback and suggestions and ideas. So I really felt like it was a good process for me to get a sense of where people feel about where we stand as a school district. So what did people say? This is my 2-page summary of the answers to those questions. So what do staff, students, parents appreciate most about the Carver Public Schools? And so I am going to read some of these too. I don't necessarily like to read things, but we'll read them to the audience. Carver Public Schools is valued for its strong sense of community, supportive culture, and small school feel. This included regularly heard close-knit environment from all groups. Autonomy and collaboration. So teachers in general feel that they're empowered in their classrooms and supported by the administration. There's a sense of student-centered values, strong relationships with students, and everyone had a shared goal of continuous improvement. And it says there the kids are great because that just came, wherever I went, somewhere in that group said the kids are great, because the kids are great. We have outstanding students here who will do outstanding things. But I think it's meaningful that every group I met with, someone in that group said, the best thing about this place is our students. And because I just think that says a lot about us as a school district. They felt good about strong connections between the community, so community and parental support enhances the school's culture. And I will say that you're going to see some things in this summary that are kind of juxtaposed, they're kind of opposites of each other, because in some places there was a little bit of mixed results. So there's a piece of, in general, there's a sense of, wow, there's strong community and parental support. But then there's going to be some pieces that say, hey, we need to make that better. Just because it's good, it could be better. And so you see that theme come through this a little bit as well. Resources and structure. So very happy about the availability of supplies, technology. This surprised me a little bit, but I had a lot of people say they actually like the 6-12 structure of the middle high school. I wasn't anticipating to hear that. And they talked about the positives of a student entering here in 6th grade or 7th grade. They talked about and then going all the way through here in this building. And they talked about the positives that students develop relationships with teachers, because we do have a lot of teachers who cross over and teach both middle school and high school students. So they appreciate that maybe they had a teacher in 7th or 8th grade that they then again had as juniors. And teachers appreciate that as well in terms of being able to see that growth. I don't think it's referenced in here. The one place where that was questioned a little bit, there was some concern about 8th grade. There's a sense that maybe 8th grade might feel a little lost. That 6th and 7th grade is in teams, 8th grade isn't high school yet, 9 through 12 is high school, and that maybe that's something as a middle high school administrative staff and as a district we have to think about in terms of our 8th graders. And then there was real positive support for professional development, that overall they feel the district supports teachers' growth and innovation. So those are all the things that people said we did really well, and I think there's some real strengths there. So what did people identify for areas of improvement? Academic performance, designed for increased student engagement, accountability, and ownership of learning, and just overall improved academic performance. I think there was a little bit of a concern that maybe the positive culture should be leading to better performance. And it's not all about standardized test scores, it's not just about MCATs, but I think people reference that a little bit, because as we talked about, I think our MCAT scores in spots are a little low. We want to see those improve. And some people felt like there might be a little bit of a mismatch of climate, and then we need to see that climate turning more into increased academic performance for students. Support services calls for more staffing, support for EL students, special education, mental health. I will say there was a clear message of return of a late bus. And it's not that we don't want to return a late bus. We would love to have a driver for the late bus, but let's be able to fund that and find a person to be able to do that. That's something we're always working on and open to. My caveat here a little bit is I think that whenever you meet with groups of teachers on a regular basis, they're going to say we need some more people. And I'm not saying we don't need more people, but I do think that strand might always be there a little bit, and that's why you might see this, hey, we could use a little bit more support staff. Discipline in school culture. There was a sense in some places there were needs for some clearer policies or procedures. And then a pretty consistent message was an update on cell phone policies. Certainly this is something we're going to talk about. I know it's something the school committee is interested. I know it's something the state's interested. So you're going to see in our handbooks tonight there hasn't been a lot of movement on that. But I think part of that is we're waiting to see a little bit of what happens at the state level. So I do think there's going to be some legislation coming forward about what students can and can't do with cell phones. Vertical alignment, particularly from 5th to 6th grade and across departments, they said that could be improved. That we've had a big focus on that this year in terms of 5th and 6th grade. We've done a lot of work in that area, but I think there's more work to be done. And then communication was one of those mixed ones. People's responses on communication were all over the place. Some people said they felt like they're overwhelmed. We get too much communication. We feel like we're bombarded with communication. And other people said, well, maybe we could have a little bit more, or there could be a little more clarity. And so I think it's listed here as an area of improvement, but I will say from obviously I was there for all these meetings, being there at all these meetings, there was really an inconsistency there. Some people felt communication was outstanding. As I said, some people felt like it was too much, like we need to back off, it's coming from too many different directions. And then there's always there's some people who feel like, hey, I didn't know this, and how come I didn't know this thing, whatever this thing was. And we can have all kinds of answers. Well, it was here, and it was here, and it was there. But ultimately, I don't think the person's not making it up when they say, I didn't know this, how come I didn't know this? So communication could be better. Facilities and operations. Issues include copper reliability. I will say that will also be a standard you'll also see when you meet with a group of teachers. They're going to say that the copiers need to be more reliable. There was references to cleanliness, that in spots in both buildings the cleanliness could be better. So that's something we're certainly going to address with our support staff and our custodians and facilities and management. And there was a move for weight room upgrades. That came up in a few different places. Though we did tell them that is on the capital plan to totally redo the weight room. Professional development, more specialized PD, especially for small groups and in classroom management. The small group piece is, those kind of the one person, the person who just does OT or PT, that the district can do a better job of having specialized PD for the nurses. And that is a challenge. It's a challenge that all districts face. One of the things Meredith and I are going to we're going to work on next year is, I know this year, because it was an election year, like everybody had that election day as a PD day. And we were able this year to actually do some regionalized PD, and we did specialized groups so that all the music teachers could go to this town and have PD that was regional. I think there's a real value on the South Shore for us to collaborate and have one day a year, even in a year where there's not an election day like this upcoming year, that everyone's off, because I think doing those regionalized opportunities for your singular groups, or the one person who's the music, or the two people who are the music teachers, or the two people who are the OTs, the speech therapists, the nurses, that having those specialized opportunities would be a good thing to do. And then technology and tools, improvements to Aspen, so that's something we're going to be working about. And here it says, and consistent tech use suggested. And what that meant here is that some people actually feel like our technology is really good. Like if you look up above, that's listed as a strength, right? Is that we have good availability of resources, structure, availability of supplies, technology. So people feel like, hey, we have tons of technology. The area for improvement there in terms of technology is so ever-changing, especially right now with AI, that they said, we just love to have some suggestions of, hey, these two things or these three things are really good, and we should really focus as a district on utilizing these two or three tools, instead of saying, hey, there's all this stuff out there that you could use that you do have available to you. If I was the superintendent, what would I change? Enhance PD and curriculum development. These are themes: ban or better regulate cell phone use, which we've already talked about. Improve facilities, again goes back to late bus and maybe cleanliness of environments. More community and parental engagement. Focus on student wellness and teacher recruitment retention. The interesting part on, I do think we've had a lot of focus on wellness, but that doesn't mean you can't always have more. And then teacher recruitment and retention, I think that's an interesting one, because if you actually look at our staff is pretty veteran, and there's a lot of people who come here and stay here for a long time. Whatever, 2/3 of our staff are on beyond step 10 or higher, so they've been here for 10 years. So there's but our bottom line is that came up in a couple of places of maybe we need to think about and do more to recruit and retain our teachers. And then what would be your reflections on strategic initiatives? What can we change? In general, there was support for the 4 strategic objectives that exist. So I'm going to bring up the blueprint in a second. And in the end, they basically said, most people said those are the 4 things. Those are the 4 things we need to do. And I don't think you should change them. I think we should keep them, and we should stay focused on them and see if we can always do them better. But suggestions that were made were reordering the priorities, which you're going to see that we did. Revising or rewording leverage, leadership, policy, and funding. So we did do that. That was a little bit of a theme that came out, that people felt like that 4th objective for some people didn't make sense to them. So hopefully we came up with something that makes a little more sense. Incorporating wellness and high expectations and industry partners into the blueprint. Improve communication. And align with the middle high school vision of the graduate camp in a couple places, because the middle high school admin team's done a great job of promoting the vision of graduate and saying to make sure that these 2 documents align. I would argue that they do, but that's something we could certainly look at as we go forward. So all of that led to, I will say, some really minimal changes in the educational blueprint. But this is the new updated proposed. And our focus, and just to reorient people to the blueprint, there's a vision statement, there's a core value statement, there's these core objectives, the 4 things I spoke about: support safe schools, enhance teaching and learning, engage the community, collaborate with leadership and policy and funding. And The strategies are generally aligned from year to year with the school improvement plans. So the strategies we do update based on, we'll take things from the school, we'll say this is going to come off because it came off the school improvement plans. This is going to go on because there are new items on the school improvement plans. So when I talk to groups, I did not look at these strategy pieces. And we'll do that over the summer. We'll do that as we look at the school improvement plans. What we looked at was the vision statement, the core values, and the 4 core objectives. So the only change in the vision statement was we actually add the word critically. So at the very end, I guess I'll leave the whole statement. The Carver School community is dedicated to continuous improvement and collaborate to promote high standards to ensure all students become empowered learners and responsible citizens through a comprehensive curriculum that inspires students to learn and think critically in a safe, supportive, and inclusive environment. The core values, there were no suggestions for changes. People were very comfortable with those and said these are the things that we as a school district we should be about. And then we changed the order of the objectives. And there were some people felt like enhanced teaching and learning should be first. They said that should be the first thing on the list. And we talked about that as an admin team, and we said, ultimately supporting safe schools needs to stay first. Right? That's the baseline. But we did incorporate the idea of wellness in here. So the language here has changed a little bit to sustain a safe, supportive, and inclusive learning environment focused on students' overall wellness by addressing the physical, social, emotional, and behavioral needs of all students to maximize their capacity to achieve. So this concept of focus on students' overall wellness is a change. That's added language. That's language that wasn't there before. Enhanced teaching and learning was third. We made it second. Then we went to engage the community. And then we worked on changing the language around collaborating with leaders. And ultimately we said what this is about is we want to collaborate with leaders at the local, state, and federal level to maintain sustainable funding and support initiatives to ensure the highest level of student achievement. That's what that's about. The old statement, so this section is all new. It's not the wording that was in the old document at all. I'm actually editing this document as I go, which I shouldn't be doing. And so I'll show you the old statement to just give you the comparison. So the old statement was leverage leadership policy and funding to strategically support the school community with mindful leadership and sustainable funding to ensure the highest level of student achievement through well-managed resources. And when we originally came up with that statement, the district actually had, when this document was originally created, was back in 2017. And the district had actually gone through a fairly, you can't read that. It's like, hey, you can't read that on the screen. That's what, sorry, I got distracted for a second. Is that we had just gone through a significant budget cut, resources were tight, the town was actually in some financial difficulties, and we have to do everything we can to make sure we can manage every dollar we have successfully. And that's what we meant to say here, and I actually feel like the new document says that better. This idea of just, I think it's cleaner. To collaborate with leaders at the local, state, and federal level to maintain sustainable funding, to support initiatives to ensure the highest level of student achievement. That's part of our job as a school community. That's part of our job as a leadership team, is to be working with everybody we can to have the best resources we can for the Carver Public Schools. So that's kind of a summary of the changes, a summary of the process I went through. I appreciate teachers and students and staff and parents taking the opportunity to meet with me and talk about what's going on in the school district and give us this feedback. As I said, I've shared this with the administrative team. I wanted to share it with the school committee first. Tomorrow I'll share it with the school community as a whole, so I'll send, because I told the teachers when I met with them I would send them the summary of my results, so I'll send this out to all the teachers. I'll send the updated educational blueprint out of what I found with people. So that's what we're suggesting for changes. I'm not looking for a vote. I don't think a vote's required, but certainly if the school committee wanted to give feedback or take a vote on the document, we could certainly entertain it. So what questions do people have, if any?
I just have a comment. I think I love the changes to the collaboration with leaderships, to collaborate with leaders. I love that. That was a good change. It is, yeah.
I agree, and I appreciate the update to think critically, because that's so important to just recognize. I appreciate all the effort that went into creating this and the collaboration that was put forth, and I look forward to the next presentation of the strategies that will be implemented to help achieve those objectives. Anyone else? Nope. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. And we appreciate all the hard work. We're very fortunate. Very fortunate. Okay, so that brings us to the presentation of the school improvement plans.
So, Ruby got up first.
Ruby's gonna go first.
Okay.
We'll start with the elementary school.
I like going first, Ruby. I do like going first. The only thing that happens to me is after Christine goes, then I'm like, oh, I wish I would have said that. Or I wish I
Well, welcome.
It's all good. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Good. Good. All right. So I am happy to present the school improvement plan. And as I sat there taking it all in, listening to all the presentations tonight, all the acknowledgments, I'm thinking, how am I going to make the school improvement plan this energetic and positive and happy, because it's just been so positive. But I think I can do it. I can do it. I'm going to do it because it is an exciting opportunity for me to present the school improvement plan. I'm going to first start off with thanking the school council members. So this year I had Morgan Brown, one of our third grade teachers, Kat Krampf, our music teacher, Leslie O'Reilly, she is one of our alternative program special education teachers, Jen Bogart, a family a parent, Tim Bean, another of our parents, and Danielle Sawicki, another of our parents. And then I had Dr. Pinella and Dr. Stahl attend as often as they could to all our meetings. So I'm really grateful to this council because we've grown and really developed as a council together, just talking about lots of important topics. And I feel like this particular council really understands the inner workings of the school, so they really have taken the time to listen and understand and give us feedback. So that's one very exciting piece that I wanted to share. So with regard to the school improvement plan, what I like about it is it's one of the documents that helps to guide us. So while our teachers are teaching the frameworks and the standards, and they're really in the trenches with all of the things that they know to do to be good instructional teachers, there's all of these other things that we are doing. And the school improvement plan is one of those documents that we've been really focusing our energy on and directing the teachers to do so as well. So for example, at the beginning of the school year when we meet and we're excited about the initiatives, we talk to the teachers about focusing their goals for the year. So the teachers are required to establish 2 goals every year, a student learning goal and a professional practice goal. And we direct them to the school improvement plan, the blueprint that Scott was just talking about, and the teacher educator rubric from the state. So that's why all of this is so exciting, because we can really get our teachers to focus. So this school improvement plan has some things that you might be very familiar with that we've talked about over the past few years. And then maybe a couple of newer things here or there. I'm not going to go through everything with you, but I highlighted a couple in each area that I wanted to just briefly talk about or touch upon. So safe and supportive schools. It's really important to all of us that we continue to increase the social emotional learning competencies amongst the kiddos. So you've heard me talk about social emotional lessons that we're using to support the students. And the goal really there is to help them improve their ability to self-regulate, take ownership for their actions, and ultimately be better ready for learning. So we focus on that with the teachers, the counselors, though it's really something that all of us, we all have to work together to support the children with. And then in that same, on that same section there, that next one, continue to work with 5th grade students and to support the transition to 6th grade. So Scott mentioned that earlier. He heard a bit about that in his meetings with the teachers and a lot of the staff. That's really important to all of us. We've been talking about that for a few years as a leadership team, but we were really this year finally able to dig deep and work with the 5th grade teachers, the 6th grade teachers, the admin team, and start to do that work, which is very involved and very, it's important. But to do that, you do have to spend time working with the teachers, building their relationships. Like, there's a lot of background work that needs to be done first before you get to the point that you can really really trust each other. That's really a big part of it, because ultimately we need the bridge from the 5th grade and to the 6th grade to be much more seamless than what it has been. So we plan to continue to work on that with the teachers and the students, and Dr. Piniella and Dylan have been very focused on that this last year. Actually, everybody's been involved with it. Meredith, everyone here really has been involved with doing that work, and the teachers. So again, that really is going to help to set our 5th grade, transitioning 6th grade students to be a bit more successful. Then the other one that I wanted to talk about there in under safe and supportive schools is to continue to increase the positive behavior choices across all settings, especially recess, cafeteria, and school bus. So, you know, yes, we have to chuckle a little bit.
I don't mean to laugh, but I understand completely.
Yes. So, you know, the students, and I tell the teachers this all the time, the students are, you know, you walk through the school, you do learning walks, you go into one classroom after another. The students are doing fabulous. They're working with their teacher, they're engaged in their learning, they're polite, they're, you know, our class size is between, you know, 18 and 25 children. They're doing well there. It's in the larger settings like recess, lunch, school bus, when they're all together and they're not with their one teacher leader. So that's when they have more trouble, it's a bit more challenging for them. So that's another area that we're going to continue to work on, and it's, again, all of us together helping to support those good choices. And how do you do that? We do that through, you know, part of what Dr. Stahl and Ms. Krampf and I'm sorry, Julia Whalen were talking about earlier. You do that with you know, responsibility assemblies, with initiatives, the book, One School, where we talk about good choices, and you showcase good student behavior, because kids learn from each other. So there's lots of other ways that I can tell you that you do that, but we all work together. We incorporate the parents to help us with all of this, and we have lots of conversations with parents throughout the year to partner with us on helping the students with these behavior choices. But that, again, you're going to continue to see that on there. And then one of the things we did this year, just honestly by happenstance, after a school council meeting in November or December, we decided that we needed to split up the 3rd graders and the 5th graders at their recess time, because they were just together. Wonderful. Together, it is hard for them all to be on the same playground. There's 140 children on 3rd grade, for example. All our grade levels have their own separate recess block. But with 3rd grade, for example, it's a large cohort. the back playground is just not enough space. So we made the change really quickly, like from one day to the next, and half the students went to the field, the other half went to the playground. Right away, it opened up more options for the kids, and it felt better for many of them. So we decided that we need to, so we did that actually for 3rd and 5th grade for the rest of the year, and it's worked, but it does require a bit more creative staffing. We don't have more staffing, we have to do it with what we have. So what that created was, more discussion on a way to do this for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders next year, at least once a week. And it's if you think about it, it might be sort of like the wind block at the middle high school, where it's what they need, but it's what they need for recess at the elementary school. So anyway, that's one of the things we're also going to work on, and you'll see that in there under Safe and Supportive Schools. The other thing that I'm happy to announce is our One Book, One School for this next year is a book about community. It is called I Am We, and so our assemblies will have that theme embedded into it. It's a book about caring for ourselves and understanding how it helps us to be better for others when we care for ourselves. It's, talking to the kids about cultivating kindness and connection. So we're very excited about that. And then under Elevate Teaching and Learning, I highlighted a couple areas there, but really the core of what we're talking about here is building the capacity of our educators so that they can differentiate, they can individualize instruction, they can really be the best instructors they can be for the students. And then also our role as an administrative leadership team is helping to support the teachers and the coaches with the implementation of the new writing program and our updated math program. So that is very exciting, and we're happy to have our new curriculum coordinator on board to help us with that. Then the other area that we have under enhanced teaching and learning is strengthening our common planning time. You've heard a lot about bonus block from your kids, and bonus block for them it's great. They love it. They spend time with the allied arts teachers, but bonus block for the teachers is an opportunity for the teachers to get some very focused, specialized professional development really from our reading and math coach. And that time that the teachers have is once every 7 days, and we're going into our 3rd year of that, so we're really looking forward to developing that even further and making it better for the teachers. And again, it takes us all to make that work, because in order for us to carve out this very special, like sacred time for the teachers, the allied arts teachers need to have the kids. So again, just something that we want to continue to refine and further develop. And then under Engage the Community, I highlighted a couple of areas there. All of these things in our school improvement plan are priorities, but increasing that home support and strengthening our parent-teacher relationship is something that we continue to be very committed to. Sharing student data at conference time, giving parents more information on what they could do to support the kids at home, and then continuing to engage our parents and guardians with the placement process and feedback about how things are going from their perspective in their child's education. And I didn't put anything into the last section. It's collaborate with leadership in policy and funding. So I'm not sure where we're at with that one right now, but that tends to have less information.
Tends to be more of a district-wide goal.
Yep.
So the focus there is more the district-wide admin team and myself, Ron and Meredith, is where a lot of the strategic initiatives are coming there in terms of, working with applying for grants, working with local and state authorities to ensure adequate funding for the school district. less
Yeah.
directly involved in the elementary school.
Right, right. But what you see there, again, is you're really supporting the educators with the rubric, the new rubric.
Yeah.
And that's, the DESE put that out, it's probably been 2 years. We did a lot of work at the beginning of the school year with the teacher rubric. You might say in some ways that we were a little bit nervous about it, but we really did a lot of work at our summer retreat and laid out some focus areas, helped the teachers to understand it, did a couple of exercises at a couple of faculty meetings, and I feel like it's been pretty seamless. So I'm proud of that work too, and if you think about it, we put a lot of time and it's gone. It's not an issue. The momentum is moving forward with that. So, that is all I have for now. Do you have any questions for me?
Anyone have any questions?
No questions, but just, I appreciate everything that you're all doing as a fifth grader going into sixth grade coming up. She's had a great year, and I really do think in terms of, working with them and teaching them responsibility, a lot of the programs that you guys do now, like having them read to the younger kids, the student ambassador, there's a whole slew of things that you're doing that's teaching them responsibility just every day, and I truly, truly appreciate that. I've seen a maturity this year that I've been waiting for, so. And I'm really, really pleased with everything that's been happening in that school.
That's great. We're going to miss them. I'm going to miss the fifth graders, but it's time for them to move on. But it's been an exciting time working with them and really helping to support them. These are our kiddos that were, in the pandemic, they were grade 1.
Yeah.
Right.
We do recognize, and I particularly recognize, that these last 5 years for teachers and administrators in general have been very difficult because of that COVID year and the little ones starting. I mean, mine lost a quarter of her kindergarten year, almost all of first grade. So I appreciate this all the more because I think they're really doing great, and I think without all the effort and the hard work from your staff and everybody all around in the entire district, they wouldn't be half as ready to go if it wasn't for you. So I appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you. And when I think about what you just said, really it goes back to the teachers, because we direct them to this and we say, okay, focus your goals, and then they put goals in place, they put action steps, and then they're living it day to day. From October to June, they're walking that walk. And we keep using this as a reminder to check on our action steps and see where we're at. So I think it's great. I give a lot of credit to the teachers for all their hard work and setting high goals.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so very much for coming and presenting and for all of the excellent work that's done at Carver Elementary School. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, deserves a round.
Right?
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And here comes my future.
Right? As we welcome Mrs. Cabral.
Welcome, Christine.
Right?
Good to be here.
Principal of Carver Middle High School. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you. So I'd like to start by introducing the members of my school council. It's a great group of people. It's Maria Calvo, Spanish teacher, Karen Booth, who's the Met Exploratory and Tech Ed teacher, Adam Holmes is a parent, and Katie Donovan's parent. And then I had 11th grade student Trevor Bienvenu and 12th grade student Kaylee Shirtliff. I will say that this is one of the favorite things in my job, is this meeting. It's one of my favorite meetings. It's just very authentic and meaningful, the school improvement plan. And as I meet with this group monthly over the course of the year, I meet just before school committee meetings with them. So that's why I'm frequently the last one to get to the school committee meeting, because we're running overtime, right? Because we've toured the building, they go and they see all the things that are going on in the school. We talk about things on the list, and the students will share what some of their experiences are as we're accomplishing our tasks. So it's just really a true, authentic experience. And then we work on what the next year is going to look like. So I'll share some of this with you tonight.
Great.
Under Support Safe Schools, a lot of the items here have been on this in the past. So I'm not going to go through all of it. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But the first two I'd like to speak about. The first comes directly from the NEASC report. Earlier this year, I shared with you, we had our decennial visit last spring, and we received the report from them in October, and we were really given three goals that we need to accomplish and show our work toward them. So they're incorporated in this tonight. So the first is to develop and implement a formal tiered system of interventions to support classroom instruction and a more formally defined process to identify and refer students who need additional assistance and support. So I feel we have a strong Tier 1 and a strong Tier 3, but we need to look at how are we going to support those middle-of-the-road students. We need to look at data, identify who those students are, and then come up with the systems of supporting them. I think in our structure, it's going to be done fairly easily because the second bullet is develop a school scheduling committee to review class schedule and consider revisions. I took the word win off of this because I think that we have WIN right now where it's operating. We made it's 7 days a week that we run WIN, but we've put 3 advisories in there now, and that's kind of slowed down, put a little bit more structure into the system for us. So high school students, grades 8 through 12, have an advisory or more of a study 3 times a week. And then they have choice of where they want to go the other 4 days. Somehow, if we could identify the students who are in that Tier 2, we could probably pretty easily slide in some interventions and support for students in math or English during those WIN blocks. So the committee, originally I put the committee on here because I do want us to look at WIN and see, do we think that, is it still being effective? Is it still, do we have a need still for it? Or do we want to kind of shift away from it? Or maybe now we're going to find another solid use for it in meeting this NEASC criteria. Also, in the Support Safe Schools, I just want to draw your attention to where I'm looking forward to. We're going to have some professional development in AI. I think we're hearing that there's a really strong need for that from teachers. We as an admin staff are going to have a training during our retreat this summer. We've already worked it into our professional development calendar for teachers in a couple of times next year. And then we'll see what we learn from that and what we want to bring back and share with our students. Looking forward to that. And then the other item the only other item in that column I wanted to address is the 6th grade and transitioning our 5th to 6th grade students, as Ruby talked about. 2 years ago, we had our first 6th grade orientation, and that was a great success. And then last year, we enhanced it and had the parents come during orientation as well. They didn't stay with their children, but we had teachers come and give shared information about the teams and the structure and technology and communication with parents. So we'll do that again. That was well attended. We had maybe 40 to 50 parents come in for that orientation. So we'll definitely do that again. And we also are looking at having our teachers work and communicate. So I think that's going to be next step. We started that work this past year, and we're going to continue with that across all of the content areas. So
great.
So that, I'll move on to enhanced teaching and learning. Because I think all the other items have been maybe just a little bit tweaked from past language, but they're all familiar, I think. So the first 2 bullets are also from the NEASC report. So the first one is ensure all students receive consistent, systemic, specific, and timely corrective feedback. So we're really going to work with our teachers on providing, because I mean that's where student growth comes from, right? To have good feedback, effective feedback in a timely manner. And so we're going to start talking about that in department meetings and as curriculum team leaders, working with our teachers to focus in that area. And then the next is to ensure that instructional practices across the school include strategic differentiation, individualization, and/or personalization based on the individual student learning needs. I do think we do a good job at that, but I think that we can look at maybe some other new avenues, particularly through our special ed department and working with students and teachers about it. I think they do a very strong job, but we can look at some new ways of doing that. The next two bullets are about our vision of the graduate. I think we spent a lot of time, the vision of the graduate had to be established for the NEASC visit. So this is our now really second year, this is our first year living with it. We had it ready for their visit last spring, first year living with it, but we've spent a considerable amount of time embedding it in all of our unit guides and curriculum guides. And as we're going through all of our summative evaluations right now and looking at all of the evidence, you can see that yes, this is in all of our written documents. I think our next steps is going to be, one, continue that as we enhance our curriculum, but then also to how do we make it live, how are we teaching it, how are we incorporating it in our lessons, how are we making connections with what the students are doing in class to actually developing these qualities. And then the last bullet I'll talk about in that is to provide ongoing professional development on deeper learning and student-led real-world experiences. I'm excited about that too. Through our curriculum team leadership group, that's all the department chairs and our admin team and central office admin team. The curriculum team leaders meet once a month, and we have been very devoted this year to our own professional development and growth in this area. And department chairs have been, when they go back to their departments and have their departmental meetings each month, they've been sharing these concepts and kind of like softly rolling this out. But now we're going to focus a lot of our professional development with teachers next year on that, and we're having some guest speakers come in and do some trainings with it. I will say Bob Yule, we ended the year very strong. We had a teacher, Rachel Kilnap, was inspired by what she was learning in department meetings about this, do some redesigned a lesson in her class and really focused on student-led and student agency. And Bob Yule, through the video production, made a video of her and had her share some reflections on what that felt like and what that looked like. And then he also included some students in that discussion and put together this beautiful video. And we shared it at our end of the year faculty meeting and gave teachers the opportunity to ask them. The kids came and asked students and teachers questions about it. And it was just a real strong end celebration to the work we've done all year long. And then I kicked off like, well, that's what we're going to be doing in August when we come back from for our first professional development day, and we'll revisit that video as well. Then to go on to engage the community. The first two have been there to just continue to expand our senior internship programs and to continue to make connections with the community and our internships, our pathways programs, and bring the community into our building to showcase our student work and our PBL work. The next two are about alumni. I think this was on it last year. We did not do much more than talk about it with my School Improvement Council, but we definitely have plans. We are passionate about doing it. I think with some parent support and admin support. I know Scott said he wants to work with this as well, but really to do some strong networking, come up with some type of a system where we can connect and continue to communicate with our graduates to support our pathways, support the work we're doing here in the building, but also to learn about the success. Like, do they learn these skills here, and where do those skills take them? And then finally, similar to Ruby, there's not a lot about the funding, but we do. I'll continue to work central office about gaining grants to fund our pathways programs. We do have the 5-year classroom modernization, where this year, so over the years, we've devoted some money to modernize in each department some furniture and redesigning their classrooms and the structure of the space. And next year, it's going to be the history department. So Brendan Cully's already working on that with Ron.
Awesome, excellent. Very exciting.
So
Love it.
Thank you, Christine. Any questions for Christine?
Anyone have any questions? Thank you to you. Thank you to members of your school council, your administrative team, teachers, the staff. Really, truly fortunate to have such dedicated community supporting our students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine.
Right? Yes. See, all excellent things, all great things. Okay, so we're moving on to recommendations from the superintendent. We already handled item A. So that brings us down to item B, which is the Recreation Committee appointments.
So Mary Ross and Kyle Miller have both expressed interest in staying on as members of the Recreation Committee. Both Mary and Kyle have served on the committee for several years. We do need a motion or vote to reappoint them as representatives on the committee.
And I'll abstain from
Yes, thank you.
I move to appoint Mary Ross and Carl Miller to the Carver Recreation Committee.
I second.
Excellent. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And then one abstention. I just want to say thank you to Mary Ross and Carl Miller for continuing to support the Recreation Committee for our community. Your service is greatly appreciated. And next, another exciting topic on our agenda, the 2024-2025 school handbooks.
And Jess jumped up first.
I'm sure there'll be more rounds.
It's out of the elementary handbook. So I will say that both of our handbooks have gone through some pretty significant revisions over the last few years.
Yes.
So we're going to find that there's
Minor
little
this
changes
time?
in both, but that's
Excellent.
That's good.
That's good.
This will be wonderful and brief.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's because we've done all the work already.
Yes, exactly. We front-loaded the work already.
We've done all the good work.
So, the team who helped revise the handbook, it was myself, Miss Cramph, and Mr. Bean. And Mr. Bean is a parent of a second and third grader at the elementary school. We have beautiful artwork by Clemens Duffy. She's a fantastic fifth grader. This was a freehand drawing, so that'll be the cover of our student handbook.
It's amazing.
Electronic devices, there's some minor revisions. So cell phones, handheld video games, they're not allowed in school or during before or after school activities. So the inclusion of before and after school activities. And then also the middle part that's highlighted is really that communication home should be done by school staff, not directly from the students. So if a student has a bellyache, they don't message their parent on their smartphone saying, I don't feel good. They go to the nurse. So it's just part of the process that
Well, they do that. You're
Well,
saying they should do that.
right, but now we're saying that shouldn't happen. And I can point it out in the student handbook.
School, right?
Yes.
Second grade.
Yes.
Should not be doing that.
And that's that one.
Oh, great.
Yep. And then this is the same, really. It's the homework expectations. The CTL group has really been working on this to make sure that it builds the amount of work from kindergarten all the way through fifth. It's the same as last year. It's just a really pretty graphic. Next.
So you redid the graphic. So,
Yes.
So there's no substantial.
No, there's no substantial changes, but it's pretty. There will be a new AI policy inserted into the handbook, but
So
there is.
I'll give an update on that. So we actually put together a committee of teachers and administrators. Meredith actually did the initial draft of a policy. We met with that group several times over the last couple of months. So we actually have a draft that would be a district-wide AI policy. And the next step for us is actually setting up a policy subcommittee meeting, which I'm going to be looking to do sometime in the next, well, really we'll have a choice because the goal would be to have the policy subcommittee review that policy. I've asked the attorneys to review that policy, so I've already sent it to the attorneys for review. After I get their feedback, I'll set up the policy subcommittee meeting. Hopefully, the goal will be the first draft of the AI policy to our next meeting in August.
Perfect.
And then we can make a decision at that point whether we want to do 2 readings or we want to do 1 reading and say it's in place for the beginning of school, or we can do a second reading, in the September meeting. So we can talk about that when we get there. But so that process is taking a little longer than we anticipated, but we wanted to mark that we are going to have an official district-wide AI policy.
And when it is completed, it will go in the student handbook.
Excellent. Thankfully.
Yes. And then this is something that's new, before and after school activities. We are really fortunate. We provide so many before and after school activities for elementary students, more so than any other elementary school I can think of. But really, it's just the core values and the code of conduct should also be followed at these before and after school activities because it's an extension of the school day. Similarly to the bus, it's still part of what we expect, how we expect our students to act. And so that is something new for the handbook.
And I think that's it. That's it.
Wow. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need any questions, Jess?
Oh, yeah,
Dr.
questions.
Spell, any questions? And then we need to vote.
Do not have any questions. I appreciate all the effort and all of the work that the committee did to bring these changes forward. Thank you for being here and presenting to us. We greatly appreciate it. Does anyone have anything they would like to add?
No, can't wait for that AI policy, though.
Okay,
it's coming. That's
right?
already rearing its ugly head.
It's like it changes every 5 minutes. I mean, the second we vote this policy in, unfortunately,
It's going to be big.
It's a living, breathing document. It's going to be a living, breathing document, right?
Yes.
Anyway, so would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, we do need a
now?
motion and a vote to
approve the
elementary
changes?
Yep, absolutely. Hold on 1 second. I move to approve the revised elementary school student handbook.
I second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you.
And next, we have the...
So happy to have Mr. Antel and Mr. McGinnis here to do the new high school handbook.
Right?
Which again, but if you remember last year, we actually merged these.
I remember.
We
Yes,
merged
yes.
these
A lot of
handbooks
changes
together.
last year.
And there was a lot of changes last year.
Yeah, if you guys remember, I think you indulged us for about an hour, maybe an hour.
It was a heavy lift.
Appreciate it. We're not going to do that again. We do appreciate your guys' time last year, though. So, as you guys know, last year we combined for the first ever middle high school joint student handbook. This year we have far less revisions because this was our first year with everything in practice. So this is what we have for our revisions this year. We met with 3 different teachers, agreed to be part of our committee to go through the handbook and talk about things to change and keep, and had great philosophical conversation. So I'll turn it over to Sean for exactly what we're proposing to change.
So ours is fairly straightforward. When you look at the updates, those are all just the standard updates that we would make, with the exception of the bottom 2. And those are written out down below. The first is on page 75. Mr. Griffith had sent us something for the meal modifications and child nutrition programs. That is being added into our handbook, into the cafeteria section, just so that way that is all there. Another change we had was on page 24. We're removing the MCAS statement that says students are required to reach state-determined standards in English, math, mathematics, and science in order to earn their high school diplomas. That is being removed. And then the last one, you can go back up at top. We actually put page with no page assignment, and it is the same statement as the elementary school had, is for once the AI subcommittee has created the district policy, we want to get that right in there.
Okay.
And besides that, you just have updates.
That's it. It's just the updates from up above.
Excellent.
Sweet.
Wow, shortest handbook.
We promised.
I was going to say, next time, you got to bring food.
Yes. Are there any questions that we can answer for anybody?
Does anyone have any questions?
No, looks beautiful.
No? Thank you very much for bringing this forward. If you'd like to make a motion to approve.
Yes, I move that we approve the revised middle high student handbook.
I second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you for being here, and we have to give them a round of applause because it's just a round of applause kind of a night. So thank you very
What do we
much.
have, 8 days left?
How many days are there? 7?
7 left.
Right?
3.5 for me.
Nice. Okay, so that brings us to the financial update from Ron.
Folks,
Got a brief financial update for you. It's that time of year we're closing out one fiscal year, starting to look ahead at the second. State's doing the same. The past couple of months, I've been sharing some of the updates, on the financial outlook and the financial landscape at the federal level. The governor's office actually released this really nice dashboard. I won't go through it with you now, but linked it there for you to just help the state, the Commonwealth, the taxpayers here in the state understand, all of the information you hear about changes in the federal landscape, which of those affect Massachusetts, how does it affect Massachusetts, which programs, those sorts of things. So it's a nice drill down. I think it's a helpful tool for taxpayers as they think about sort of broadly what those impacts look like, and they also have drill down specific to education, which is kind of nice. On Beacon Hill, I'm sure you saw the Senate's passed their version, so it's on to conference committee, which is great. Fingers are crossed that we'll be able to have a state budget roughly on time this year. One note that I wanted to add to your radar, though, is that as part of the Senate's work, they actually adopted a slightly modified amendment from Senator Lewis, essentially establishing a Chapter 70 study group. That's in response to a lot of communities like ours, the over 250 communities statewide that are really just receiving minimum aid. We've been on this sort of ping pong back and forth about the exact amount per pupil that minimum aid is going to be year to year. But ultimately, I think this is a step in the right direction for the Commonwealth to just take a moment, have a thoughtful conversation about what minimum aid really looks like, what the Chapter 70 formula should look like, and hopefully come to legislature and DESE for some statute and some additional regulations on updates to Chapter 70. Last update on Beacon Hill, Governor Healy for the second year in a row instituted a hiring freeze again. Took place just at the end of this month. Really just been a response again to a lot of the changes that we're seeing in the federal landscape, a lot of uncertainty when it comes to cost of materials related to tariffs, funding that are coming in block grant that comes from the feds through the states, through, to communities and so on. Last year, the move saved the state about $21 million. There's no projections on that number right now, but we're anticipating something around that as well. It's not a huge number for the state, but that's an interesting pattern to start to see emerge, yeah. On grants, I have just one grant for you. This is a grant that Dr. Erickson shared with you a while back in terms of our work. Funding has just recently come into the coffers, so we've got that $6,000 for connecting activities. Those funds ultimately offset some of the Innovation Pathways internship program costs, which are really cool for kiddos. Before we close today, I'd request the committee vote to approve that appropriation. And then you've got just Q4 warrants, both payroll and expenses. Quick note on your payroll warrant, 6.6 is our lump sum. So in education, not all educators, but a large majority of educators ultimately get all their summer funds, if you will, in one lump sum, right? So that's why you see that number being much higher than is typical. No transfers at this time, but at the August meeting, we'll do a lot of our reconciliation transfers to close out FY25 and kick us off for 26. I'll answer any questions that you have and just request the committee vote to approve the appropriation for the grant and the Q4 warrant.
Excellent. Thank you very much. As always, we appreciate the memo and the links for those of us that are nerds and look for other things to read. But thank you. As always, you keep us up to date. We greatly appreciate it. So with that, if someone would like to make the motions,
I move to approve the Connecting Activities Grant in the amount of $6,000.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve the warrant as presented this evening.
I second.
Excellent. We have another motion and a second. So any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Dr. Erickson and everyone involved in applying for that grant for our students. It's greatly appreciated. So next, that brings us to an approval of a donation.
So we had a home care patient of our physical therapist, Danielle Mallory, who'd like to donate this treadmill to the school. Danielle has seen the treadmill and would like the district to accept the donation, something we'll be able to use in the school system. A motion, a vote to approve and accept the donation is required. We have a couple other pictures here in terms of, the look of it. Danielle says it's in good shape, and it's something that she could use. So we have the make, model number. So I would move that we accept the donation of the treadmill.
Okay. I move that we accept the donation of the treadmill to the physical therapy department.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for that generous donation to our district.
Yeah, and we'll send a letter of thank you out to the...
Perfect.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, so that brings us to everyone's favorite topic, scheduling our meetings for the next school year.
I think August 17th is a Sunday, not a Monday.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
Hold on. August 17th is a Sunday, not a Monday.
You don't want to meet on Sunday? You don't have the first
I
meeting
mean,
on Sunday, August 7th?
You really
Nope.
want me to be here?
I think we'll go with the 18th.
I would not like to meet on a Sunday during summer.
Oh.
You know, so Gina and I looked at the schedule. We try to keep a similar schedule this year. And
Yep.
in general, it's every 3 weeks. But obviously, we have some months of where it might be 4 weeks in between. So there's some months where there's 2 meetings, some months where there's 1.
Yep.
We tried to stay away again from having a meeting the Monday after February vacation.
Yep.
And the Monday after April vacation. So
Yep.
we've tried to stay away from those, especially after the April vacation, because that's when we have reorganization and
Yep.
might have a new school committee member. The election is just that, is always that last Saturday of April vacation. So, but certainly, you know, the time frame in here is if, you know, sometimes for budgetary reasons, we might add a February meeting in.
Yep.
So you'll notice we'll have a meeting between February 2nd and March 2nd. But based on whatever the financial situation is, we might have to meet, put in another meeting in February, but we can make that decision at the time. So the way the calendar fell this year, this actually has us have 1 less meeting. I think this year we have 14 meetings, and this year,
This is
on this
13.
calendar has 13. But yeah, that's the proposal for our meeting schedule.
Okay.
And August 18th is the Monday before school starts. Teachers return the next Monday, August 25th.
Okay. I just want to briefly ask the committee if everyone is still comfortable with our 3-week meeting schedule. I mean, I know there are some in here that are monthly. I mean, it's 7:57. The amount that has been accomplished in this meeting in 2 hours is like absolutely incredible. So I definitely cheer and support our 6 p.m. start time. I think it's been great for everyone. And I think the amount that we meet allows us to not have meetings that go till 10:30, 11 o'clock as we used to. So I just wanted to see if anyone had any feedback about that if anyone wanted to propose a change or anything.
The only comment was the August 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but
It's already updated to August 18th. See
Thank
that? Thank you, Gina.
I know you would. That would not. have sat
Right,
there.
exactly.
I'd rather have more meetings, shorter meetings than
Right?
longer.
And then
meetings.
I also think it gives us an opportunity as a committee to be more engaged in what's happening in our meeting if we're not in hour 4. Sometimes you need to be in hour 4, and if that, presents itself, then we'll do that. But I think doing that on a regular basis would just be a disservice. So anyway, I just wanted to ask that question, see how everyone felt. So I think all the dates look fine to me. So do we need to make a motion to approve?
Yeah, we should make a
Right?
motion to
Yes.
approve it.
Okay, so if someone would like to make a
Meeting calendar
motion?
for next year.
That'd be fantastic.
I move to approve the 2025-2026 school committee meeting calendar as proposed this evening.
I second.
Excellent. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for that. I greatly appreciate it. So I will be brief, I promise. All of you should have received a mailer and an email from the Massachusetts Association of School Committees for the Summer Institute that's coming up on July 19th. It's a collective bargaining boot camp. I realize that we have just finished our collective bargaining for now. I will be in attendance, and if there's any information whatever information is provided to me, I will bring back to the district to share. It's always good to hear and see what other districts do, and maybe there'll be some tips and tricks for us going forward that we can implement, even though I think our subcommittees have been doing an amazing job, and we have a good working relationship with the union. So I think we're in a very fortunate place compared to some other districts. So I will be attending that. And We will need to do the nominating form for our delegate for the MASC conference in October. Probably do that in August.
Put on that, so.
Yeah, so we can get that submitted. And the nominating committee for the officers for MASC is in July. So I am up for vice president of MASC, so I will let everyone know how that works. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in our district. Thank you to our students. Thank you to our staff, to our teachers, to our administrators, our custodians, our bus drivers, our food service workers, absolutely everyone who plays a part in making Carver Public Schools the place that it is and the community that it is. I'm so grateful and so proud of all the work that happens here in Carver and the community that continues to grow and evolve. I just want to say thank you. And we won't be meeting till August, so I hope everyone has an amazing summer. Congratulations again to the class of 2025. It was an amazing graduation. I was very moved by all of the speeches, and it was wonderful to recognize Shane McColgan and to hear their stories of the impact he had on their lives and how they're going to carry that forward with them. I think that the community of Carver at large, I think also subscribes to that, oh, I lost the word, so sorry. Commitment of carrying that forward, and I just wanted to say that it was really, truly a special day. Honored to be a part of it, and happy Pride. So if anyone has anything they would like to add, please feel free.
I should have mentioned when we did meeting dates, I believe we agreed to, but I wanted to confirm that, the school committee retreat being
August
August
11th.
11th.
Yes.
So that's not, that wasn't officially listed on the school committee meeting dates, but
Okay.
wanted to make sure everybody was still good
Yes.
with August 11th as a retreat date.
Yes,
6 o'clock.
I actually spoke with Sean today. So there will be more information coming about that to everyone as well. So if anyone has anything they'd like to add, great. Also, thank you very much to Dr. Erickson for all of your hard work. You will be missed. Thank you. We appreciate everything you've done for our community. And if anyone has anything, great. If not,
I just would like to tell everyone to have a wonderful rest of the year and a wonderful, safe summer. And I look forward to another new school year on the school committee.
Yes, it's very exciting. We get 7 days, right?
Excellent.
7 days, and everybody can take a much-needed break. A well-deserved break as well. So thank you to everyone in the administration, the teachers, everybody in the school. I mean, it's been a great year. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's been a really, really good year. So enjoy that time off, and thank you. We appreciate you.
absolutely.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
All right.
Okay, if someone would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the June 9th Carver School Committee meeting.
A second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? No? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so 8:03 p.m. This Carver School Committee meeting for June 9th, 2025 is closed.